we'll do it.
So welcome everybody to this FredTalk presentation. We have with us this evening the brilliant, the wonderful Victoria Marie Gallagher. She's the author of the book Practical Law of Attraction, and her new book, the one that Victoria's got, and the one that I've just received, which is Ultimate Weight Loss Power. I'm sure Victoria's going to be telling you all about these two books tonight. I'm so pleased to have Victoria on the FredTalk. We met earlier at the UK conference, and we had a good chat there. First time I really met her and spoke to her, we had a good time and it was great. So I'm really pleased and grateful that you're doing this for us, Victoria, for our group. So I'm going to switch off and I'm going to leave you to it. Enjoy the evening. There's no time limit on this, so you know, whenever you think you've had enough, you can stop. You can interact with anybody if you want to by switching their sound on, and you're in control now. Okay, so I'm going to see you in maybe an hour or so. Have a wonderful time and enjoy. Okay, I'm looking forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me here and inviting me to be a guest and a speaker on your FredTalk. I've been looking forward to this ever since we met back in London. And so the day is finally here. And I did have about 5 hours of material planned for today. No, just kidding. I've got my coffee. I'm ready to go. So, you know, so like the name, the title suggested, you know, it's 2020. It's finally here, 2020. We've been talking about 2020 and all the amazing things that are going to happen, that we're going to create in our lives. And here it is. It's already, you know, halfway through the second month. And I don't know about you, but I do hear about people at the end of the year, you know, saying 2020, this is my year. This is the year that everything is going to happen for me. Or, you know, and so we talked about, like, why haven't I manifested my dreams yet? Why is it so hard to say that I'm going to attract something into my life using law of attraction or using some other method and manifest something? Why is it so hard for us to change, ultimately, to bring about our dreams and our goals, and, you know, and to be able to truly achieve the life that you want? So like I said, we're here. It's 2020, and you probably said, you know, 2020 is going to rock. 2020 is my time to shine. This is my year. How many of you have said that to yourself? You know, at some point? Yeah. And how many of you, okay, let's just be honest. How many of you said the same thing in 2019? You know, 2019 is going to be amazing. 2019, this is my year. This is, you know, and you can go back probably every single year. I mean, this is a whole new decade, right? And this is like, now it's really serious. Now we really have to, you know, turn up. This is my year to shed those last 20 pounds. This is my year to write that book that I've always wanted to write. This is my year to finally double my income. This is my year to meet my soulmate. This is my year to start that new business. This is my year to fill in the blanks, whatever it is. This is it. This is, you know, this is the time. And so you know, then what happens? So you put up a really good fight last year to manifest, but whatever reason, it didn't work. And so you got up on January 1st. Okay, January 1st, you got up, maybe not quite on time because maybe you partied a little bit too much the night before, bringing in the new year. It's okay. And you got up, and what is the first thing you did? Maybe you checked your iPhone, right? You checked your email. You checked to see what's going on Facebook. And you were reminded in those very first moments of the day, you were reminded of who you were last year. You got up, you went to the bathroom the same direction that you normally go. You got up, you made your coffee, you had the exact same thing for breakfast that you had last year. You exercised the exact same way, or you didn't. You did the exact same routine that you do every day, every morning. You talk to the exact same people. You drove the exact same way to work. And 2 hours into the day, everything's the same. Everything's the same. And there's a reason for that. And a big, big reason for that has to do with the habits that we create for ourselves. Nothing is going to just change because we snap our fingers and say, this is it. I'm going to change. We have all the excuses in the world as to why things haven't changed. I didn't have enough time. I didn't work hard enough. I wasn't sure where to begin. Life got in the way. The kids got in the way. I didn't meet the right people. You're drinking wine and I'm drinking coffee. That's the difference between the time of day here. That's great. I didn't have the money, but this year, like, everything's going to be different. But what is different about you on the inside? And that's what we do as hypnotherapists, is we help people to change things on the inside. It's not out there, nothing out there in the environment. That person isn't going to change. That, job isn't going to just suddenly, come up any different than it did last year. That the clients aren't going to just suddenly roll in because you say, I want to, make more money. It's not going to happen because it's a new day or a new Monday or a new month. Now it's February. The month's half over. Okay, well, the month's half over. I didn't get anything done. And then before you know it, it's summer, and then it's fall, and then it's the holidays, and then it's the new year all over again. And you say, okay, this year I'm going to get my act together and I'm going to manifest something wonderful. But like I said, you wake up, you're the same person. And so I want to kind of get into what manifesting actually is. What does it even mean to manifest something? And my definition of manifesting is aligning yourself. It's a personal growth. It's a personal growth situation. It's aligning yourself with the experiences that you want to have in your life. It is growing yourself and becoming the person who has those things. You don't become, oh, there's velvet. You don't become who you want to be after you've manifested. You become who you want to be in order to manifest. So many times people say, oh, I'm going to be happy as soon as I get those bills paid off, or as soon as I achieve this goal, as soon as I have more clients, as soon as I lose that weight, as soon as whatever it is, then I'm going to be happy. But it's really the other way around. We are not going to achieve or manifest those things from the same exact mindset, the same exact emotions, the same exact actions. We have to be, the universe doesn't care about what you want. It cares about who you are. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. And so working harder, I didn't work hard enough, so I'm going to work even harder. Well, working harder isn't going to get you where you want to be. Have you ever just felt like, you've just done everything that you can possibly think of? It's like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I don't even know how to get these things to happen for me, that, the goals that you have. And I want you to start to, as we're talking here, I want you to actually start to think about something that at the end of this hour that you'd like to come away with, that you'd like to actually be different and change and manifest and have in your life? Can everybody agree to that? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, with regard to that thing, have you ever felt like you've just hit a brick wall? Yeah. Um, you feel like you've tried everything that you can think of at this point to be successful, and it just isn't working. And when you've done everything that you think that you can do and you're not seeing the results, it's really hard not to get discouraged, frustrated, anxious, fearful, impatient, sad, angry, complacent, and the list just goes on and on. And so today we're going to go over 7 reasons why your dreams haven't manifested yet and how you can kick those into high gear. You know, so I want to ask you, what are you committed to? Because we're always committed to something, even if what we're committed to is feeling comfortable and safe. You know, so are you committed enough to what you really want? Or are you more committed to, you know, keeping things exactly the way that they are? And so I want to share a quote with you that I believe exemplifies manifesting law of attraction to the T. It's one of my favorite quotes in the world. Until one is committed, there is always hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. And that is a quote by William Hutchison Murray. So let's get into talking about your dreams, not the dreams that you have while you're asleep, but the dreams that you have while you're awake. What you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to have. There's 2 different kinds of dreamers in the world. And the difference between these different types of dreamers comes down to one thing. It's the choice that they make. One chooses to leave the dream as a dream, and the other chooses to manifest it, to realize it. It's a choice. Manifesting is not magic. It's about what you are committed to, what you're in alignment with. And so I want to share with you some ways, some things that have been getting in your way that have, you know, maybe prevented you from being able to, you know, manifest. And for those of you, you know, who don't know me or where I got my start, I just will really briefly go into that. You know, I've been a hypnotherapist for the last 21 years. I started in 1999. I got certified. Before that, I was a financial consultant. I worked for a large brokerage firm on Wall Street. And I started taking a lot of personal development seminars. And I realized that I wasn't in alignment with what I was doing anymore, that stockbroker thing was I just wasn't passionate about it. It wasn't me. It wasn't fulfilling me. And so I, as a result of going through these seminars and wanting to get a lot of people also involved in it because of the changes that I felt like I was making, it was, you know, really hard to get people to want to come and attend these seminars. So I decided I wanted to bring the seminar to them. And so I decided I would create my own line of visualization programs that people could actually use, because most of the work that we were doing there was was the internal work. So that's when I became certified in hypnosis, and I made a goal for myself that I was going to have a huge website online with over 500 programs. And it seemed like a crazy idea at the time. Nobody believed me. Nobody thought that it was, something you could actually do or make a living at. But, obviously I proved everybody wrong. And of course, I went through all my trials and tribulations to get there. But I learned a lot of things, along the way. And I really learned how to manifest everything that I have in my life. My soulmate, who I just celebrated Valentine's Day with yesterday, and I think that was our 12th 12th Valentine's Day that we've celebrated as a married couple. And my business, these books, speaking engagements all over the world, and all of the things that I've ever kind of set out to do. If I am focused on that, I achieve it. And even though people told me that I was nuts 21 years ago for quitting my quitting my day job and deciding what I was what I was going to do. So again, manifesting is all about aligning yourself, growing yourself with the experience that you want to have. And there are 8 conditions that you need to be in alignment with in order to ultimately bring about your result. And I do talk about those in my book. So we're gonna not go into detail on every single one of these right now, but I just want to give you a summary. It's your desire, your thoughts, your imagination, your beliefs, your feelings, creative attraction, otherwise your intuition, taking inspired action, and the manifestation itself, what you do with that, how you handle that. And so we'll touch on those a little bit more briefly, but I want to go into reason number 1 right now. And the first reason, the number 1 reason, is you're not clear and focused on what you want. Have you ever noticed that whatever you do focus on in life tends to happen? And let me give you a couple of examples of that. Anybody ever had the experience of buying a new car or wanting a new car? Wanting you see that car and you say, that's the one I want. And, after you put that out there, after you decide that is the car that I want, and you think about it, you imagine it, you see yourself driving it, now all of a sudden that car is everywhere. You see it, you see that car, like you'll see 2 and 3 of them parked right next to each other, driving down the street. I mean, and the thing is about that is, before you had the idea of that car was always everywhere. But only after you really started focusing on it did you start to actually see it. And so a lot of this focus, a lot of manifesting has to do with our reticular activating system, which is just a part of our brain that filters out all the unnecessary garbage, all the unnecessary things, and that we don't really need to be seeing. And the way that you communicate with this part of your brain, the reticular activating system, is simply by what you're focused on. Now, it doesn't care about what you're focused on, whether it's something you want or something you don't want. And that's where a lot of people, we tend to focus on things that we don't want, unfortunately, because we are brought up in households with well-meaning parents that tell us, don't put your hand on that stove, or don't do this and don't do that, and no, 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 no. And no is about 90% of what we hear as we're growing up. And so no and negative thinking and negative patterns is about 90% of how we communicate to ourselves. And so we have a very strong tendency to easily focus on things that we don't want. I don't want to be in debt anymore. I don't want to be lonely anymore. I don't want to have this back pain anymore. I don't want to have, and it's don't. But here's the thing is in order for you to don't something, you have to bring that idea up into your head. And so you are ultimately creating more of what you don't want whenever you say, I don't want this. And so that's really the first part of this whole focus thing is we have to learn a new way to communicate to ourselves. And sometimes it's a little funky and it's a little awkward at first to start to convert these complaints, the things that we're complaining about. And and it's never going to go away. You're always going to complain. I mean, there's never going to be but what we need to do is we need to learn how to do it less often, and we need to learn how to immediately catch ourselves when we find ourselves in a complaint, and take that complaint and turn it into what we do want. So my first suggestion, my first tip is on this whole focus thing is to, number one, get very, very clear on what it is that you do want. We really want to make sure that we are programming ourselves all the time with that thing that we actually do want, because ultimately, just like that car, just like with the reticular activating system, the more we focus on something, the more we expand that, the more we're going to see it, the more we're going to attract the people, the situations, the circumstances, the feeling, all of the things that we need, all the resources, everything is available to us to attract and to manifest everything that we need. But we have to be very crystal clear. And I can tell you firsthand, it is very difficult sometimes to be very crystal clear about what you want. I mean, when it comes to business, I mean, I have so many different aspects of my business. Which one do I focus on? Which one do I grow? Do I focus on writing more books? Do I focus on my app? Do I focus on my Hip Talk 500 recordings? Do I, where do I focus on doing more seminars? It's really easy to get distracted. I almost feel like I want to write a book called The Law of Distraction because it is probably one of the things that is, especially for us entrepreneurs, that really gets in the way. And the law of distraction just creates more distraction, more chaos, more like, what do I focus on? And so you have to be able to train yourself and discipline yourself, because the law of attraction is going to show you what you are in alignment with. Who here has tried to use the law of attraction before and has been successful at it? Cool. Awesome. And who here has tried to use the law of attraction and has not been successful at it? Yeah. So, we and there's reasons for that. Manifesting isn't magic. It really comes down to what you are focused on, what you're committed to. Every single thing in this whole entire universe starts with an idea. I mean, every single thing, that picture behind me, that couch, the pillows, the lamp, the flowers, every single thing. I mean, zillions upon zillions of things. This coffee, the chair, the microphone, this computer, everything started off as an idea in one's mind. But that idea has to take hold somehow, and it has to guide you to ultimately taking the right steps in order to make those dreams, make the desire in your mind real. You can manifest it. It doesn't happen by accident. You have to intend for that to happen. And you have to really, really know what you want. You have to be extremely specific. I cannot tell you how many people talk about that I talk to that, you know, they don't really have a very clear idea about what they want. I think it's really one of the number one reasons why we don't manifest. They're either not focused, or they're focused on too many goals at the same time. And you know, or they're very vague about what they want. They'll say, for instance, well, I just want to make more money, or I want more clients, or I want to be in a relationship. And those, I don't know if you can hear the vagueness of those, but you know, you're already in a relationship. 1 cent is more money. One more client is more clients. And so you have to be able to be crystal clear about what exactly it is that you want. If you're looking to manifest more money, you want to decide on an actual dollar amount. And, you know, just remember, you can always ask for more later, but start with something that is conceivable, that is believable, that, you know, that you can really, really wrap your mind around and really get focused on, that is a stretch, that is something better than you've had in the past, that lets you know I'm moving forward. But that's not so outlandish. I mean, if you've never made 6 figures before, it's kind of silly to say, I'm going to make $1 million this year, right? That's a little bit of, you know, that's going to be something that's going to be very hard to wrap your mind around. But so you want to be focused on something that is doable, that's, you know, that's absolutely doable. But at the same time too, a lot of times people won't get focused. One of the reasons why people won't get focused is because they don't know how. They don't feel like they have the understanding of, well, if I say I'm going to manifest a 6-figure income this year, or whatever it is, I'm just using that, you know, as a general concept to wrap your mind around. They may not put it out there. They may not say it. They may not even want to put that goal because they don't even know how. They can't even conceive of how that's going to happen. And that's one of the places where people get stuck with focusing and being specific on what they want. That if you could simply allow yourself to ask for what you want, and at the same time not know exactly how it's going to happen, the way will present itself. The way will present itself once you know why you want that. And we're going to get into the whys in a little bit later. I do have a really nice meditation planned out for you toward the end of this. It's called the why meditation. And so that's a few steps down the road here, but want to, you know, get a few of these other reasons out of the way. So is everybody really clear on the fact that we need to be very clear about what we want? Okay, very, very good. All right, so awesome. So reason number 2 is that you're focused on not having it versus having it. Okay, you're focused on not having it versus having it. You're coming from a place of scarcity rather than a place of abundance. You're afraid that the desire won't manifest. And instead of talking about, you know, what you do want, you're complaining about what you don't want. So this is sort of a little bit mixed in with what I was just talking about. But when you complain, you're ending up getting more of the same but here's what happens is when you complain, it sets up this feeling of negative vibration, negative feeling. You're coming from a place of anxiety. You're feeling fear. You're feeling things that are preventing you from being happy. You'll say, I'll be happy when I have this thing. And you spend most of your time feeling frustrated, disappointed, disillusioned. Work so hard. The world isn't treating me unfair. The world's treating me unfairly. When is it going to be my turn? Nobody cares. That's mine. That's my biggest complaint. Nobody cares. And so then your thoughts, which are mostly on autopilot, they keep you stuck in the exact same place, because you're saying the exact same, you're reinforcing exactly what's happening. And so here is my way, and this is actually in my book. This is my way of handling that. You got to take out a piece of paper, and you got to do what I call play the complaint game. And you allow yourself 5 minutes. And we're not going to do it all, right now, but you allow yourself 5 minutes to just get all the complaints out. Because here's the thing, you're thinking them anyway. You're just trying to not think them, but you're thinking them anyway. They're there. Those complaints are there. And, a lot of the reason why people have a hard time buying into the law of attraction is because they think it's BS. They think we're supposed to lie to ourselves. They think it's all about standing in front of the mirror and thinking happy thoughts all the time and saying, I am this, I am that, and completely ignoring the things that we are upset about. I just wanted to make sure that my cat could get out. So, yep, there he goes. So, a lot of people think that, it's just, oh, if I just lie to myself all the time as I sit in my room and meditate and all day long and say, oh, I am a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, that things are going to manifest that way. Well, you have to be honest with yourself. Oh, we got a kitty over there too. Love it, love it. I'm not sure if Freddie could see all the other people. No.
Oh,
Hi, kitty.
hello.
So, it is about the more real you are, okay, the more real you are and have more awareness about how you're thinking and how you're feeling, and, am I in alignment? The more chance you are going to have of manifesting something that is just right for you. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. It really comes down to being in complete integrity with ourselves. So when we have those complaints, you don't want to ignore those. You don't want to pretend like they don't exist. It's part of you. It's upsetting you. It's frustrating you. And so you want to get those out. So you take 5 minutes, take out a piece of paper, you divide the paper in half with a line. Draw a line down the middle of the paper, and you, on the left half, you write down 10 complaints. It's too hard. I have, I've tried everything I can think of, and I can't think of anything anymore. Nobody cares. Customers, they, are cheap. They don't want to pay me for my services. Whatever it is, you just come up with, as many things as you can, possibly think of in that 5 minutes, at least 10. And when you have your list, you look at that list. And then on the other side of that list, you begin to describe what you would like instead. So you've taken your 5 minutes, that's it. You don't get to complain anymore. You're done. Get it all out. Don't dwell on it anymore. It's done. There's a difference between, there's a distinction between being honest and being, aware of yourself and dwelling in all of that stuff. That's when we say that we don't want to focus on negative things, and, we want to think in more positive, productive ways, that means you catch yourself when you are dwelling on those things. So you don't want to dwell on them. Now you want to take them and you want to convert them in a positive, precise way into exactly what it is that you prefer instead. So it might go like, with the clients, I don't know how to find new clients. I don't know how to find new clients. What would be a way that you could restate that to yourself? And I'm just kind of coming up with this off the top of my head, so I literally have to dig in and think myself. What would be a believable way that you could represent that to yourself in a positive, conceivable way that you're not lying to yourself? So how about, I love it when I come up with new ideas for finding clients. I love it when, I love it when is a great sentence starter for anything, because it's absolutely true. And it's a way to bring that idea into your mind I am creating magical solutions for clients and they race to find and come to me. Yes, I love that. I love that. So, so you want to start to get creative and come up with different ways to, different preferences, different things that you prefer instead of these complaints. And so I love this, complaint game, because it really, really helps you to clarify very specifically what it is that you want. And you may take one of those preferences, one of those new affirmations, and you may work with that one all day long. And you just, you either write it or you sing it or you you dance to it, or, you really, really want to start to incorporate that into your being. So that's how you play the complaint game. So reason number 3 is you don't actually believe that it's going to happen. Reason number 3 is you don't actually believe that it's going to happen. Okay. And obviously we know that, we have our subconscious mind, and our subconscious mind believes one thing, and our conscious mind, we can talk to ourselves till we're blue in the face that we, are going to have this thing. But if we have counter intentions and counter beliefs stuck in the subconscious part of our mind that is in complete opposition to the thing that we say that we're going to manifest, it is not going to happen. It is so much more powerful than you. It's like, 90, 95, 99, who knows how powerful it is, but it's like 99% versus 1%. And you absolutely have to get those limiting beliefs. You have to change them to match whatever it is that you're going for. And that can be really tricky. But the very first thing, because we have so much resistance to trying on these new beliefs that we want. And one of the reasons why we have this resistance is, again, it's about being authentic. It's about being true to ourselves. When you have something that you're going for, and in the back of your mind, you're kind of saying, I don't believe it, right? But you're fighting with that belief. You're saying, oh, but I want to believe it. I think I can believe it. You just have to own that right now. You have to start there with the acceptance. Start with the acceptance. Say it. I want this, but I don't believe it. I really, you just got to be honest with yourself. Like, for me, at some point I'd like to earn $1 million in a year. Okay. But so for me, when I get into a system or whatever, and it seems to be working for me. And I get really close to where that's going to, the payoff is going to happen. Something happens. Something always seems to happen to sabotage that. And the reason why is because, when I get that close, I realize I don't believe it. I honestly, I just, I really want to believe it, but I don't believe it. So you gotta accept that. You have to start before you can even um, change a limiting belief. Everything starts, any kind of change, it starts with accepting it, right? If you're trying to get somebody to quit smoking or quit drinking, or they have some sort of a problem, all right, you're not going to get them to change that because they don't identify that it is a problem yet. And so all change, well, first it starts with resistance. All change starts with resistance. You're resisting something, and then when you own that you're resisting it, then you decide to accept it. You decide to accept, I am here. This is where I am starting from. If you are trying to get yourself from Los Angeles to New York, but you don't know that you're in Los Angeles, it's going to be very difficult to get to New York. Right? And so if you don't even own the fact that you have this limiting belief, that it needs to get worked on, it needs to get changed, you're going to be fighting against your own self resistance because you're not doing anything to work on that belief. You're just trying all these other things, but it's not doing anything to actually make a dent in your beliefs. And everything starts really there. There's all of these conditions, these 8 conditions, but really, nothing's going to budge until the subconscious gets on board and buys into what it is that you want to do. And so that, that also, feeds into your fears, your doubts, your anxieties, your frustrations. Beliefs are really everything, and they are the most powerful part. They are, your subconscious beliefs are your most powerful tool, weapon, ultimately. And but like I said, it's really, really tricky. So number one, we want to let go of the resistance to believing by admitting to yourself that you actually don't believe. You actually don't believe that this is going to happen. Do whatever you can to throw your hands up in the air, like, I don't believe, I don't know how this is going to happen. I just don't believe it. And just feel that, just release that, just be okay with that. And once you get okay with that, now you can say, okay, limiting belief. You take it out. You take this belief out that you now realize that you have. You take this belief out and you talk to it. And you can do this in hypnosis. You can do it in non-hypnosis. It's all hypnosis anyway. But basically just by imagining, looking at this belief, understanding that there's benefits that this belief is getting out of keeping you where you are, keeping you from your goals. Question this limiting belief. When did I start believing this? When you hold this belief under a microscope, and it's like you're shining this light on it. It's like you just imagine that it's in an interrogation room, right? And the more you ask that question and shine a light on that person that's being interrogated, they do eventually start to unravel and fall apart at the seams. They get tired. They get tired of being asked the same question over and over. It's the same thing with your limiting belief. It's a part of you. It's a part. And so question that thing, where were you? Where were you when you first, had this belief? Almost turn it into a game. All this stuff doesn't have to be so serious, right? You can really kind of just play the interrogation game. I just made that one up. play the interrogation game with your belief. But you really do, you want to put it on a witness stand. You want to put it on trial, and just drag it through the mud. When did I start believing this? Where was I when I started believing this? What was the thing that happened when I started believing this? Why do I believe this? Is this really true? Who else was involved? Did somebody else tell me this and I just accepted it? I mean, every single day we get new limiting beliefs. We listen to, we watch this whole feed on Facebook, right? And it's just feeding us new beliefs. It's like, oh, that's a great quote. Well, is that even true? Or, we don't stop to actually think. We don't stop to question anything that anybody's telling us. It's not to say you want to just live your life being skeptical, but you want to understand that it's so easy. The news can tell us something. Headlines can tell us something. I mean, the headlines are notorious for creating new beliefs in us, because we just read the headline content that's in that we haven't actually read, so we just assume that whatever that content, half the time the content has nothing to do with the headline. It's just something to get you to open it, and read it. It's just an attention getter, but we believe it. We buy in to so much stuff. So you want to ask yourself, for evidence. You want to ask, what is the evidence that this is actually true? Okay. And you will probably find, I shouldn't say probably, you will find that there's no evidence out there. There's no, really, everything can be broken down to something that there's so few things that are actually true in this world. What is really, really true? I mean, some comes up every day. There's a few things that are scientifically true, but they're very few and far between. And so the only reason why those beliefs are true is because you believe them, because you made a decision one day, because you made a choice. Somebody told you something and you just decided to believe it. So what do you want to believe instead would be like the next phase of that. So you've questioned the heck out of this thing. You realize, you know what? That is not true. That's just something I made up. That's a story that I told myself. That's a story I bought into. That's somebody else's story. It's not even my story. It's somebody else's story. And I just decided to believe it. And so I'm not going to believe that anymore. So what do I want to believe instead? And so you ask yourself, what do I want to believe instead? And now you can also find evidence to make that true. Somebody else ever done this before? Yeah, of course they have. Most people, can find somebody else that has done something that they want to do. And you can find and you can look for all kinds of evidence, and you can completely dismantle that old belief and create a whole new belief instead. And you want to be a proof seeker. You want to look for proof that that belief is true. We do that anyway. We're always looking for proof that the existing beliefs are true. We don't mean to, but that is always going on behind the scenes. Is we are always looking for proof about what we believe. We want to start to look for proof about what we want to believe. So is everyone clear on that? Okay, awesome. Number 4 is misuse of the imagination. Misuse of the imagination. So Albert Einstein had this to say about imagination. He said, imagination is everything. Imagination is more important than knowledge. He also said that imagination is a preview of life's coming attractions. We live in a world of cause and effect. Your imagination is the cause and your life is the effect. So a few examples. you know, you hear that it's flu season, or you hear about somebody else getting sick, and, you know, you start to think, I wonder, you know, you imagine yourself, you know, not feeling well. I wonder if I'll get sick with the flu this year. I wonder if maybe I should go get a flu shot. Maybe I should go get a flu shot, you know, and you start thinking about the flu, right? And before you know it, yep, see, it always happens. It always happens, right? I knew it was going to happen. I mean, that's the greatest expression, right? I knew it was going to happen. Well, of course, you knew it was going to happen, so it happened. That happens all the time. Why is that? Why does it happen? You know, and so our imagination most of the time, you know, is working against us. You know, maybe you think about having a difficult conversation with somebody. You might imagine that, you know, that conversation is going to be awkward, or it's going to get heated. You see the screaming and the yelling, or, you know, you start to, right? If you think about having a difficult conversation with somebody, what happens in your body? Your body starts, you know, perspiring. You start, your heart starts racing, right? And it's all because our imagination is so freaking powerful, you know, that it's actually connected to our physiology. It changes our whole state based on what we are imagining. I mean, you sit in a movie theater, you know that nothing that is happening in that movie is actually happening, yet you're like, oh, you're crying, you're, you know, getting mad, you know, all, you know, you're getting involved. And that's because you're working with this super, super powerful imagination. And so most of us actually misuse our imagination. We misuse it out of habit, because we weren't actually taught how to use our imagination, and our imagination tends to sabotage our success. And worrying is one of the biggest misuses of our imagination. They say that worrying is essentially praying for something that you don't want to happen. So, you know, how to use your imagination for the good? There are a number of ways that you can do that, and many, 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 many ways. But one of my favorite ways is through scripting. And scripting is a form of writing. It's a special form of writing where you write a story as if it's already happened. You get, you know, extremely caught up in the story emotionally. You want to feel this. You want to almost exaggerate the story to the point, you know, where, I mean, you're just, you know, you just like in it. You can imagine everything wonderful that's going on. And then you want to be very, very clear. Why do you want it? Make it believable, be grateful. And so write a new story, right? Literally write it out and write all the reasons why you want this thing, and, you know, and just kind of allow that to make you feel good. Reason number 5 is low vibration. Low vibration. And the low vibration, you know, everybody can feel this thing called vibe. You know, somebody walks into the room with you, or you know, you walk into a room and you can feel the vibe. You feel that energy, you feel the general emotional state of the people that you encounter. There's some people that you meet for the very first time, and when you meet them, they just give off such a wonderful positive energy, and you're just like, oh my God, I just want to hang out with this person. They're so great. You know, would you be my new best friend? You know, it's like you just love that person because they're just a certain energy that they are exuding, and you can feel that they are demonstrating that. And that is what I mean by a vibe. You know, the opposite's also true. You know, there's people that you come in contact with that you don't want to be around because they kind of give off that negative feeling. There's just like, ooh, you know, something that just doesn't feel right about that, being in that person's presence. Maybe they're just angry, maybe they're just in a bad mood, maybe they are not present, whatever it is, there's some reason why they might be in that vibe, but that's what I mean when I say vibe. So you may find yourself at periods of your life where you have maybe been in a lower frequency, and where you've been in a prolonged lower frequency, and that is going to take down your vibe, and that's going to cause you to not necessarily see the opportunities, not take action, not involve yourself with the right people, or it's going to create some sort of a wall to your ability to manifest. So we want to work on our vibration. And I think one of the ways that we can do that, and this is where we're going to get into our meditation here. And so one of the ways that we can do that is we can really work on forgetting about the how, forgetting about the beliefs, forgetting about our thoughts, forgetting about everything else, but just focusing on the reasons why we want to manifest this thing. What is it really about? What is it really about for you? What does it really mean? And so we're going to go ahead and slow this down just a little bit. And so if I can have everybody go ahead and get into an open body position with your arms and legs uncrossed, with your hands in an open position like you're about to receive a gift, setting your palms facing up on your lap, and just go ahead and take in a nice deep, cleansing, refreshing breath all the way down deep into your belly, and hold it for a moment and release it, and just allow your breath and the sound of my voice to relax you completely. And I want you just to think about the missing key here. I'm going to walk you through the missing key about ultimately being able to manifest what you want. And the missing component for most people is emotion. Emotion. I want you to think of the word energy in motion. That's what emotion is. So just imagine that energy, that you are one with that energy. You are energy. And your emotions are energy. And just allow yourself to connect with that energy that is you. Focusing on your breathing, focusing on the energy that's coming in and out of your body as you're breathing. Because breathing is everything. Breath is life. We couldn't exist without this breath. So just allow yourself to consciously focus on your breathing. Because as you're consciously focusing on your breathing right now, you're focusing on your life. That's right. And I want you just to allow yourself now to think about that very specific thing that you want to manifest. Just allow that to come to your imagination right now. Might be a specific amount of money, specific business that you want, dream relationship, physical goal health-wise, an experience, maybe a vacation, dream home, whatever it is. It just needs to be very clear, very specific. As if you could just take a snapshot of that moment that it happened in your mind. And you are the person. You are the person who's manifested that. Just allow yourself to imagine that, what it would be like with you in that picture, you with that thing. walking through that house or having that thriving business, being in your dream relationship, whatever that is, you are there. You are in that moment, a snapshot into the future, which is right now. I want you to be so clear. You're in that scene. You're looking through your eyes of that person who has already manifested that. You are there. You've done it. You're in that place. You could describe this for anybody perfectly. You're that clear. You're seeing it. You're seeing what it looks like. You are hearing it. Noticing what it sounds like. You can feel it, smell it, taste it. And as we do this visualization, we do this visualization for one reason. We do it to make it real. To make it real. Our senses help us to make it real. To perceive it as a reality in this moment. We can feel it, and as we feel it, we increase our emotion. We are raising our vibration. We are increasing the positive vibration. E is for energy. Motion is just that, motion. Emotion. And the more emotion you are able to put into this visualization, the faster your desire will manifest. More emotion equals faster manifestation. The higher your energy, the higher your vibration, the faster you will manifest. You see, manifestation happens when we are the person, when we are that vibration, when we have become the person who has manifested that. So now I want you to begin to ask yourself, now that you're there, now that you're in this place, now that you have manifested, why? Why do I want this? Why do I want it? What is it about for me? What does that mean? What does it really mean to have that? Why is it so important? Take a deep breath and out. And again, ask yourself, why? And go deeper. What's underneath that? What does it mean? Why do you really want to manifest this? Get clear on your why. And what's even deeper than that? You're right there. You're experiencing that thing that you want to manifest. Take it all in. And as you're experiencing this, being inside your body, looking out and experiencing yourself as the manifestor, associating with it internally. What comes after that? Now that you've been able to create that, what's next? What are you now able to accomplish and do and have and be? What else? What's next? And how does that feel? Notice if there's anyone else in your scene. Who else does this manifestation impact? What does this all mean for you? Why is it so important? What is that one thing that you've always wanted that now you get to do or have or become? And just notice your feelings now. It's these feelings that speak to the universe. Feelings are the language. Asking yourself why helps you to get deeper into the emotion. You have to be clear on why. You are the why. You have to know why you want that thing. That's your job. And let the universe do its job and provide you with the how. And just let it go and allow the universe to do its magic. And when you are presented with inspiration, you act. Don't question, just act. Don't hesitate, just act. This is manifesting. And now, taking a nice deep breath and come back to the present moment. All right. How was that for everyone?
Great, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so we just have a couple more quickies. That was number 5. Number 6 is not listening to our intuition. So what we just did there actually is a really helpful tool to help us to connect with our intuition. But a lot of times, you know, we get stuck because we're not paying attention to the voice inside of our heads that says, you know, maybe I don't want this. Maybe you're trying to force something to happen that you really don't want. Maybe it's something that somebody else thinks you're supposed to do. And so many times, you know, we do get stuck thinking that we're supposed to do something or that something is supposed to look a certain way. But you know, we're stuck. We're not taking action. We're not feeling good about it. We're thinking bad things about it, and that's because our intuition. And so we have to actually ask ourselves, what do, you know, kind of getting back to what do I really want? Not what I think I should want, but, you know, you might be forcing something that isn't supposed to happen. And we just have to honor that. You know, we need to listen. You know, or it may be, you know, that we have to take a bigger step than we feel comfortable taking. And, you know, it's just, or we don't trust that voice. So is that our thinking? Is that really, you know, am I listening to, what voice am I supposed to listen to? Which one is my intuition? You know, so it can get very confusing sometimes to figure out how. And so it's easier just to, stay comfortable and stay in our comfort zone and not trust, not listen, not take that action. Better the devil I know, right? Anybody ever heard that expression? It's easier just to be, you know, suffering in the comfort that, you know, it's like the frog doesn't know that he's in boiling water, kind of thing. And but we, you know, we might need to get into, you know, out of our comfort zone and take action on something. So it starts with really listening to our feelings, like paying attention to our feelings, asking the feelings for more information. Whenever you hear yourself, you know, whenever you hear the feelings talking to you, which they will. That's your intuition, that's your gut. You feel it. You sometimes feel it. Maybe it's just a physical thing, or maybe it's a voice, or maybe you see something. Our intuition can talk to us in many different ways. And so you want to learn and hone in on, how is my intuition speaking to me? How does it speak to me? And then have a conversation with your intuition. Ask it to give you the a babier step. Maybe it's it's telling you to go in a certain direction, but you're imagining that you've got to take this humongous, gigantic step. You would get more information on what to do next by just acknowledging this. You're in a relationship. It's like you have this relationship. Somebody's talking to you and you're just not even you're just ignoring this person, right? Well, after a while, they're not going to talk to you anymore. And so you want to start to open up that conversation with that intuition and start to acknowledge it and start to take little baby steps just so it knows, hey, I'm here, I'm listening, give me more, give me the next step. And be a responsive person. When you're more responsive, then you're going to get more information. That's just how relationships work. And it's a relationship that you have with your own intuition. And finally, ta-da, we're at number 7. And reason number 7 is just not taking any action. I mean, that's that's one of the reasons that that's the most obvious reason for not manifesting. We're not actually doing anything. But there's reasons why we're not doing anything. And the reason might be, I don't know what to do. It could, many times, I found myself, I don't know what to do. And so you're just kind of like not doing anything, or you're waiting for the right time. You're waiting for, next week, next month, next year, after the kids go off to college, or after this happens, or after that happens. And it's always after that, I mean, tomorrow is not a day on the calendar. It never really happens. We have to, when we know that there's something we need to take action on, we need to actually do it. We need to actually do it right now. But the other reason is because maybe we're feeling emotionally low. Our vibe is low. Maybe we don't, we haven't checked in with our why. We don't know why we want what we want, or we just get overwhelmed. So I say that the easiest way to get rid of all that and take some actions is to take infinitesimally small steps every single day. You don't have to just spend your whole wad in one day. Take this tiniest little step, because in my opinion, consistency is the key to success. It doesn't matter. The big steps are not normally the ones that are ultimately going to get you the prize. It's the small daily actions. If you say that this is the year that you're going to get in shape, I don't care, if your goal is to, go spend an hour at the gym every day. If something comes up and you don't have that hour to go spend at the gym, don't just write that off. Go walk around the block for 5 minutes, or whatever it is. Just do something that you're always in forward momentum. And what that's going to do is that's going to build the confidence. You are respecting yourself, and you are building an integrity. You're building a better relationship with yourself. So, I mean, if you're writing a book, if you can't even come up with the ideas that you want to write about that day, for your book, I mean, just write a paragraph. Write for, even if it's not necessarily going to make it into the final draft, just write for 5 minutes. Go for a short 5-minute walk, whatever it is. Just do the smallest steps. And it's about creating those habits, and it's about and that's going to raise your vibration, and that's going to help you feel better about yourself. And as well as I do, that when you actually do take a tiny little action, so many times I've kind of lied to myself and said, oh, I'm only going to go for a walk today. I don't feel like running. I'm just going to go walk. And that's all I have to do. Well, before you know it, I'm running because that little step kind of leads to a bigger step. And so, don't worry about how big the steps are. Just do a little something toward it every single day. And so in closing, the final step of today, and the most important one, is my challenge to you. You now have what I consider 7 very powerful tools in your treasure chest. But tools are only powerful if we use them. So every single one of us has the ability to manifest our dreams, our desires, and I want to challenge you today to take some of these tools, 1, 2, all of them, whichever ones, but at least one every day, and use them consistently in your life for the next 30 days, and just watch what starts to manifest in that area in your life. So who's committed to doing that? Awesome. And now you have a better understanding of how manifesting works and why things haven't manifested so far. And you understand what you can do to move forward. And I believe that there are defining moments in a person's life. What if right now, just during this Fred Talk, what if right now could be one of those defining moments for you? It really can be. Remember, we're always committed to something. So are you committed to what you really want? Are you committed to believing in your dreams becoming a reality? All the power is within you, and it's been there all along.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic. I've loved it. And this is a defining moment. I believe it is for me. Because I've got 2 new books to write now. One's called The Integration Game. And
yeah, The Integration Game. I love it.
The next one is The Law of Distraction. So watch.
There we go. There we go.
I'm going to be a millionaire on my 2 books. But no, it's fantastic. And I think the idea, I know you said you just come up with that idea of integration game. And the interrogation, not the integration game.
The interrogation game, yeah.
And I think that idea for just taking any of our limiting beliefs and then and doing that and just going, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? I just think that's a great idea for changing limiting beliefs. I really do. And, I've been saying to people for years now, the thing is that the beliefs we have, they're not, like you said, they're not generally ours. They're someone else's belief that's been placed on us. And so for me, this is just personally, I look at beliefs like this. I ask that question, does this belief empower me or disempower me? Because if it disempowers me, I understand that I can choose to believe something else. That's how simple it is with beliefs.
Yeah.
I think I might interrogate it first, just for the fun of it.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Else. No, I think that's that one thing about just because we accept those beliefs, that must be true because we've had them for so long. And when you understand that none of them, I've actually put out something years ago. I say, beliefs are like soap bubbles, and I have the pin, and you decide what you want to believe, and that understanding in itself is really worth knowing for people. And a lot of the things you've been saying, are fantastic. When we're talking about complaints, you say write down 10 complaints in 5 minutes. But one of the things that I think is helpful is we complain and it's like a dead end. It's like a cul-de-sac. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you say, you know, nobody cares. But there's one word, if you add to that, just opens it up. And the word is yet. You know,
Yet. Oh, that's a great word.
nobody cares yet. You know, I haven't manifested my goals yet.
Yet.
You know, just that word on when we put in those things together, those complaints. If you add that word to, I used to say it to my kids. I said, well, I can't do this. You know, I say, well, yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's just then a matter of how bad did you want it. You know, it's not a closed statement anymore. So, you know, I think the idea of writing down complaints, I'd have to make a few up to get 10, I think. I haven't got a great deal to complain about, except for this cold, which I obviously brought on, but because I was thinking about the coronavirus or something, and now I'm feeling it.
It's, this is so funny because here I am, I teach this stuff about the law of attraction, but I have been so fascinated by this coronavirus, really, like I'm just hungry for information on it. I don't know why, but it's like, because I've always like watched those crazy breakout movies and and things like that. I don't know why I like the kind of psychodrama, but whatever. It's just a weird thing. And so I've been really fascinated with what's happening with this coronavirus. Not scared of it, just like, oh wow, it's gotten, like just observing.
How many people are feeling ill because they're worried,
Yes,
even if they
but
haven't, they're feeling.
just true to my focus point. All right, what you focus on expands. Now it's not the coronavirus, but my husband goes to Florida, he comes back, he's feeling under the weather. Yesterday I went and had my hair done. My hairdresser, she's like, don't hug me, I'm feeling under the weather. And my very next interaction is with you, Freddie. You say, I'm feeling under the weather. It's like everyone around me is feeling under the weather. It's because I've been focused on this stupid coronavirus.
That's your fault. This is your fault.
It's my fault. It's absolutely, I own that.
Yeah.
I own that.
But I think that
So I need to maybe take my focus off of that.
there's so many things that you've said, in this talk. Things like you just said about owning, those limiting beliefs and accepting that this is, yes, just saying I'm going to earn $1 million this year, and without taking action for a start, that's just a dream. But apart from that, by saying this is where I'm at now, but it's not where I'm going to be, and there was a book by a guy called Michael Niels. It was called How to Be Happy Now. I don't know if you remember it. It was maybe 20, 30 years ago he wrote the book. But he said something which again, something you said today rang a bell. He said, if you're doing things in order to be happy, you're doing them in the wrong order. And it's a bit like what we're saying about manifesting. If you're doing things in order to achieve that, you're doing them in the wrong order. Find the happiness in where you're at right now, as opposed to thinking, I'll be happy when. Because when you say that, it's always out in the future. I so many things here of rang bells and opened my mind to different things. I think it's been a fantastic talk. I've loved it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice
yeah, like when you think I want to manifest money, you have to ask yourself, well, why do I want that? Why do I want that? And more, it's because you're expecting it to make you feel a certain way. That's the only reason why we want anything, is because of what we think it's going to make us feel. So then that's perfect information, because that says, okay, well, in order for me to manifest money, I need to line myself up with that feeling now. And that will take me to where I want to go.
I mean, I've read a couple of books by Tony Robbins years ago. Unlimited Power, I think, was the first book I read of his.
Mm-hmm. I have that one. I love it.
Both of my boys are now like 48 and 45 when they're about 11 years old. Christmas, so there's your book. That's your present for Christmas. Read this. But one of his quotes, which I love, and it's the only one I really remember, and it's to do with what you're saying here. He said, if you can find a big enough why to, you can always find a how to.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what people come and see you for weight loss or want to quit smoking or want to do whatever. If you can find a big enough lever, the why to, then you can always find a how to. And it's the same for when it comes to earning money. How bad did you want that? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Because those are the questions we have to ask ourselves. And that aligns with what you're saying about those beliefs. You know, is it ecological with my belief system to want this or want that? It's okay to say I want it, but if it's not what you really believe you need, or it doesn't fit with who you are, then that's not going to happen. So many things you've said here today have been fantastic. And the one thing which is really important, as you said, is consistency. It's setting a goal. It doesn't matter if you want to lose 10 stone, you start today. And it doesn't mean you've got to start running marathons. If you're 10 stone overweight, one, you can't do that. But if you say today I'm going to go for a walk, and for the next week I'm going to go for a walk every day, and then the next week I'm going to walk a bit further. You know, it's taking, like you say, those small steps, but it's doing it consistently. So it becomes habitual. It becomes part of who you do, and you start to do it automatically. So I've absolutely, and I'm not just saying this, I've absolutely loved this FredTalk.
Oh, thank you. I have too.
I'm going to thank you on behalf of all the people going to watch this on the recording, all the people that are here today, because I have no doubt they've loved it. And it's one of those things that is your passion about it and your joy in it. You know, you get a lot of people who present, and they just say the words, or they do the thing, but not with the passion. I can't say that about our FredTalk people, because most of them being exactly like you. They love this stuff and they want to share it, and it's fantastic. Anyway, I wish you all the best with your book, Unlimited Weight Loss. I believe I've got a little pre-thing in it, haven't I? I haven't read it yet.
Oh, yay! You do, yes. Yes.
I know that's going to
I was so blessed. I was just so blessed. I put it out there, and I said I wanted to have a lot of endorsements, and
well, I've heard about you for a long time, and I've seen you at Las Vegas. But last year when we met it was the first time we had a proper talk. And like you were saying about, vibrations from people, and that's what I got from you immediately. I thought this is a really fabulous person, and I mean
Thank you. I got the same thing from you, definitely.
It to be true, because the time we had together there was good fun. We share the same kind of beliefs and all that kind of stuff. It was great. So I'm going to thank you once again on behalf of everyone in this our little network group, and all the people who are going to watch this on YouTube. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here and hanging out and learning about this today. It was my pleasure to bring this to you, and thank you so much for participating.
Great. Well, thanks very much again, and hopefully I'll see you in Las Vegas.
You will.
You say Las Vegas or Las Vegas? I always say Las Vegas, but you say Las Vegas. Hopefully I'll see you there if I make it. If this coronavirus doesn't get to me. I'll be the one with the mask on. So
yeah, there we go. The whole world's going to be wearing masks.
Right. I'm gonna end this now. But thanks.
It's gonna be like a new fashion statement.
Yeah. You'll be the odd one out if you're not wearing one.
Right.
Okay,
all right. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Bye.